First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakag Quadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham to the overall elect. And it's your brother Laban coming at you with another video for this week. And it's in regards to this news over here. And I guess this is probably going to be another MOTB lesson, or probably an update. I mean, I'll get there when I get there, whatever I want to call this video. But as this reads over here, UK goes full cradle to grave with sinister plan for newborn babies, digital IDs. Ministers secretly plot to tag babies with lifelong surveillance tech. Now, what I did was I typed in human tagging, and this is what AI gives me. Human tagging refers to using electronic devices or data process to monitor, identify, or track individuals, often involving GPS ankle bracelets for offenders, subcutaneous microchips for identification, or data labeling for AI training, raising significant data debates about privacy, consent, and human rights, especially in criminal justice and immigration contexts. Now, what I did was I checked in the human rights law. Well, I typed it in, I typed in the human rights law down here in the UK, which is the Human Rights Act of 1998. And as this reads, is a UK law that incorporates the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, into domestic law, giving everyone in the UK fundamental rights like the right to life, privacy, and freedom from torture, and allowing them to enforce these rights in UK courts against public bodies such as the police, courts, and government. It obligates, it obligates public authorities to act compatibly with these rights, and enables judges to interpret other laws in line with the convention, making human rights directly enforceable in the UK. So that's what this would violate. And I mean, it's to be expected because we're dealing with Esau here and their long-lasted agenda that they will no longer put behind them. This time around, they're going to go full throttle with this agenda now, because what they need is they need to bring this CBDC setup, which is going to get you from using your credit cards. In some cases, rarely people nowadays don't even use paper money anymore, or even the plastic money that we have down here in the UK. So what is going to get us closer to is being chipped. So that's why they're pushing this so heavily now. And it's going to begin while you're born. That you're going to receive a digital ID. All right. And this is the thing with Esau. Esau can pass laws that can agree with the people to give people an idea that we live in a democratic system. But then later on, he will bend you to something else, which is going to come in conflict against this law, this human right law over here. And then he'll create other laws, which once again agrees with his agenda that he wants you to be under. All right, and that is to receive that implantable device, and I say that because that's the last resort, basically. So now let's get into this article. Now, the UK government's digital ID push is escalating into an outright dystopia, with ministers privately floating the idea of assigning digital identities to newborns right alongside their health records. This sinister expansion, revealed by the Daily Mail, exposes Labour's true agenda. A lifelong tracking system masquerading as a tool to curb illegal immigration, as well as we've been saying. The move is being slammed as a blatant power grab with many warnings. It has nothing to do with border control and everything to do with eroding freedoms from birth. And that's all I need to read. I don't need to read any more than that because that's exactly what it's all about and it's been about. All right. So what I want to do is I want to tie this in with Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Absolutely. And who is giving them the power? We know that the Heavenly Father, the power of the earth is in the hands of the living power. And as well as is written in the book of Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So what Esau is doing is he's only doing what he's allowed to do with the limited power, timed power, if you will, that he has. All right, Proverbs chapter 2. And I want to begin by reading verse 10 here. When wisdom entereth into thine heart and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee. And we have the discretion by knowing Yahweh Shai, by this knowledge. So we're going to be delivered and saved from the wickedness of Esau, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. And this is a froward idea to get people, especially our people, because I mean a lot of our people, there's more than you can believe, right? There's more Israelites. Excuse me, I said Israelites, like I was from Ireland or somewhere, right? But there's more Israelites around the world than we can believe. So in saying that, Esau wants to turn the nation of Israel against the Heavenly Father by tagging them with these implantable devices. So now we take it to the current moment in time. They're saying, look, by the time you're born, you're going to need, it's going to be obliged to you, if I can use that word, for you to receive that implantable device. All right. But they beginning it with the digital ID. Okay. So that's the thing. By the time you're born, you're going to receive a digital ID right from the rip, because you're not a human being to us. All you are is human resource that you are to us, and that we're in need. All you are is just human resource that we got to track and trace all along, all throughout your life. And that's how these devils from the top see us, especially these central bankers, because they're going to be the ones, of course, they're the only ones that setting up the CBDC. But first, they got to get the digital ID system set up. Proverbs chapter 2, verse 12 again, to deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. Let's read it again. Who leave the path of uprightness to walk in the way of darkness. And Esau, we can go all the way back to the time when Jacob and Esau were being born and they were being raised up. Did Esau follow the ways of their parents to a degree? Yes, they did. Primarily, I'm referring to Esau. Yes, he did. But as time progressed, he grew into himself and he became what he became, the wicked. And as his descendants were being brought up through a process of time, they just grew into who they really were, the wicked. So they departed from uprightness, and this is what they want the world to do, primarily just to include the world of Israel for that fact. They want us to turn against our power in totality to serve them. All right? Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their paths. And the reason why their ways are always going to be crooked, because They were made to be crooked, as well as that's written, that the thing that which is crooked cannot be made straight. So Esau ain't straight. That's why he will make laws to suit your means and then break these laws by framing other laws. All right, so that he can what? Have you under his agenda finally. So the word crooked is from the Hebrew word awaf, I believe. Right, awaf, which means to be bent, be crooked, bend, make crooked, pervert. To make crooked, falsify, pervert, subvert. To bend, make crooked. To bend oneself. So just naturally, overall, as well as I'm going to say, just to use Occam's razor, Esau naturally is against the nature of the Heavenly Father and everything where it concerns creation. That's why he's moving as such. All right. So Esau is going to bend you away from the truth so you can live according to his lies and his deception, which is a false way of living. If that means change your gender, then that's what it means. If it means seeing the world or looking at people as all equal, then that so be too. All right. I mean, there's so many different things I can talk about, which explains Esau's way of having you to depart from the way of truth. All right. That Esau, if it was up to him and the Heavenly Father wasn't with his creation at all, he would turn everything inside out. All right. And he's kind of done it already because the Lord allowed him to do it. Because naturally in his heart, he is froward. He's inside out. So everything becomes inside out according to his heart. All right. Psalms 94 verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? Oh, absolutely not. Which frameth mischief by a law. Absolutely. And they gather themselves together against the soul of the righteous and condemn the innocent blood. Right. So what is going to be the main thing that they're going to frame mischief by a law? They're going to order you to what? Receive the implantable device. They're going to make it lawful. First and foremost, I'm going to put it this way, right? It's going to seem like the thing that you need to do because the way society is going to be structured, and then they're going to pass laws so that you do have to obey that law and order to go along with you receiving whether it may be your digital ID, which your digital ID is going to be on that chip. Okay, all of that information under your digital ID is going to transfer to your chip. And Esau been doing this. Esau been writing laws up to condemn other laws which suit your means so that he can violate you in the end. Every which way he can. All right, whether it's to take your land, whether it's to take over your house, whatever it is that he can benefit from taking something from you, that's what he's going to do. All right. Oh yeah. Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 5. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, meaning by knowledge, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Absolutely. Because during the time of the Maccabees, especially during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, after he conquered the Jews, what did he declare? He declared, as well as this is written, First Maccabees 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. So doesn't that remind you of today what Esau is trying to formulate? A one world system. Of course it would. Which this whole one world system idea goes all the way back to the Tower of Babel. That's what that all goes back to. So this ain't nothing new under the sun. What Esau does is he'll take something from the ancient world and put a spin on it. But it's really the same thing any doggone way. Even though he's put a spin on a few things here and there, it's the same concept. Now, if you go all the way back to the book of Genesis, the 11th chapter, what happened? The Lord used the angels to confuse the people, man. To confuse that whole situation by changing up the languages of the people. And when I say confuse the people, I'm talking about causing a dysfunction. All right? Because what they try to do is confuse the people for real. Literally confuse the people. Which the word confuse, which means to what? To mix together. The word fuse, which means to mix. All right? So that's what they try to do. They try to mix everybody together to create that unity. But what the Lord did is he did the quite contrary. He sent the angels down there to confound the languages of the people. And in that kind of way, it brought confusion. In the sense of what I mean, it caused the dysfunction to that whole idea. All right. So the Lord was never with that. And as well as it's written too, let me go and read that as well. Deuteronomy 32. Let's go and get that. Deuteronomy 32. In verse 8, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, and he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. So during that time, they were known as the sons of Adam, because you didn't have names of those people. They didn't have actual names at the time until the three sons were delivered and saved from the flood. And then the sons of men and the sons of the wicked and the righteous were named. All right. So he separated the sons of Adam. So what was Moses referring to? That point in time in history, Genesis, the 11th chapter. All right. So if that was the case then it's the same how it is going to be right now. It's like people talk against racism and all of this stuff, right? But racism has always been a thing. It will never end. Racism will always be in effect because that's just how the Most High set it up. All right. He set up men to favor other men according to their kind. That's even in the Apocrypha. Let me even pull that out too. I don't know exactly where it's at, but it's in the Apocrypha somewhere. Everything will cleave to its kind, right? Let me do this. Like case in point, you can live in a multicultural metropolis, which, if I'm correct, the word metropolis means like a major city where you have a large amount of people coming from different places around the world. Guess what? You know what's gonna happen. People are gonna consent to who they know. They're not gonna consent to who they don't know. All right. So it doesn't matter if Esau tries to create a one world system. People are going to cleave to their own people. You're not going to have an amalgamation of people getting together among people they don't even know, that they can't vibe with through the spirit. So I think this is it right here. Yeah, this is it here. This is Sirach 13 and verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellow shall have the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly. And what agreement is there between the hyena and the dog? And what peace between the rich and the poor? As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. Yeah, so the point is in verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and the man will cleave to his like. Absolutely. And that's how it is. Even when you look at, even in societies, you have different brackets of men, different classes of people. You have the people that run your government. They consort among themselves, and then you have what? You have the various classes under the government. You have you may have the upper class, the middle class, or the middle upper class, the working class, right? You don't see working class people getting together with someone that went to a private school coming from an upper class sect. You don't see that. All right. Not saying it don't happen. It can happen, but you don't see that on a regular basis. All right. Even in one area, you can go to one area and that one area has only a set kind of class of people. You know, like being that I'm down here in London. In London, there's different. Of course, like London's quite huge, but in London you have different areas, and okay, that area, that's a working class area over there. Oh yeah, over there, that's a middle class area over there. Yeah, this area is definitely a uppity class area, right? You don't have a place in the UK or anywhere around the world for that matter where two people can groom together and they go to the same bar, they go to the same venues, have you will, just to get together, as a community. No, a community of people is made out of one set of or class of people. So even when we're talking about the classes of men, there's a separation, let alone the different races altogether. Yeah, so now what I want to do is I want to move somewhere else. I want to go somewhere else and speak about this over here, because what's happening is Denmark is bugging, as this reads, because of what just was had in Venezuela. They think that this could very well happen to them, something along those lines anyway. So anyway, let's get right into this right here, man. Denmark freaks out over possible Venezuela playbook in Greenland, warns end of NATO, following the Trump administration's military operation to forcibly remove Nicolas Maduro. The wife of Trump's deputy chief of staff triggered panic in Denmark and Europe after posting a picture of a map on X showing Greenland overlaid with the American flag with caption "Soon." Oh boy. Her post drew a response from Denmark's ambassador to the U.S. Jesper. I can't pronounce that. I think that's Mela or Sorensen. I'm not gonna bother. Who wrote on X, just a friendly reminder about the U.S. You know what I could do? Come on, man. We got Google. Yeah. Let's look into this real quick. Everything's there. We got all the tools, man.
The following pronunciation is brought to you by pronouncenames.com.
Hold on, wait there. Hold on. I can read this. Hold on. All right. So it's pronounced Muller Sorensen. Muller. Not Muller, but Muller. Yeah, okay. I think I got it. Slightly. Right, so it's It's Muller. Muller Sorensen. Okay, I got it. I think I got it. I think that's how you pronounce it. Muller Sorensen. There you go. Muller Sorensen, who wrote on X, just a friendly reminder about the U.S. and the Kingdom of Denmark. We are close allies and should continue to work together as such. U.S. security is also Greenland and Denmark's security. Greenland is already part of NATO. Trump has been publicly mulling the purchase or takeover of Greenland since at least 2019. Wow. With varying degrees of serious despite repeated international pushback from Danish leaders. On Sunday, Trump said the U.S. needed Greenland very badly, renewing fears of a U.S. invasion of the largely autonomous island that was formed Danish colony, which still remains part of the Danish kingdom. So now I want to read this over here. Readers added the context here. Greenland is a self-governing territory within the kingdom of Denmark, with its status recognized under international law. Any claim by the U.S. or another country has no historical legal basis. Yeah, so that's that. Let's read a little bit some more on this. All right, in response, Greenlandic Prime Minister Jen Frederick Nielsen accused Trump of completely and utterly unacceptable rhetoric, adding enough is enough. Threats, pressure, and talks of annexation has no place between friends. Nielsen said on Monday via social media, that is not how you speak to a people who have shown responsibility, stability, and loyalty time again. Enough is enough. No more pressure. No more innuendos. No more fantasies about annexation. Right, so that's that right there. So you can already kind of see that prophecy. Anyway, this whole North Atlantic Treaty Organization is going to be breaking apart, and this is what we see right now. All right. And it's going to get so bad out here to where the allies, so-called, which was once upon a time America's allies, are going to turn against it for good. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me read some more of this right here. Yeah, so let's read this. I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says that he wants Greenland. He told Danish broadcaster TV2. But I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. Greenlandic members of the Danish parliament, Aja Chemnitz, and I believe, if I'm correct, it was 1949. Aja Chemnitz, that NATO got established. A representative of the Inuit Attack-Quittigit Guide Party, however you say that, said that while she doesn't believe invasion is imminent, Greenlanders should prepare for the worst. We should hope for the best and prepare for the worst. That's the way I see it right now. We are in a situation that is concerning, she told The Guardian, adding that Trump's latest remarks were the worst and most serious of his threats to Greenland and marked a new world order. Oh boy. Oh boy. The EU is also in a panic, which on Monday said it would not stop defending the principle of territorial independence, particularly when it comes to another member of the 27-member bloc, The Guardian reports. Man. So it's not looking too good for Europe, boy. It ain't looking too good, man. And as well as America, too. And overall, when you look at NATO, NATO was a whole kingdom not to be reckoned with. And I have to bring this into the mix. Mark 3 and verse 23. Saying what I'm saying, it's true. Because when you think about it, when you have the conjunction of these nations, listen, they were not a house you could fuck with. All right? So now what we see that things are happening and there's a changing of attitude. You know, they once upon a time agreed with one another and, were comfortable with one another's, how can I put this? You know, there was a time and a place where they were all at agreement. They were cool with one another. And now there's this attitude between the two, and it's not good. There's a spirit of dissension. All right, with this particular kingdom. Yeah, this is the book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 23. And he called unto him and said unto them in the parable, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And this is Satan's world right now we're living in. And yes, we're in the end of Esau's world right now, as well as this is written. Speaking about the end, right? Second Ezra 6 and verse 7. Point is in verse 9. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held the first heel of Esau, which symbolized that Esau would be taken down by Jacob. And who out of Jacob? The star of him, such as Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai would be the star of Jacob, which would take down this devil. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And that's clear, cut, and dry. All right? We're in the end. We're approaching the absolute end, which will fall into fruition, Esau's world. And how do we know that? Because of the division that we see happening among NATO. All right? Which NATO together was a powerhouse, not to be fucked with. Now things are looking way different now. All right? Daniel's chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree by the watchers and the demand by the word of the Holy One, to the intent that the living may know. Who are the living? We are the living. That the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the base of men. Let me look up that word, the living. Let's look up this word, living, right? Yeah, okay. It's not much. Alive, living, life, chaya. Yeah, chaya. So I was correct on that. Yeah, this is I think this is the root word. Let me go back and do that again. Yeah, so I was correct. It's chaya, which means to live. So we're the ones that's living right now because we've received this truth. Even though you have people that are physically living on the earth right now, but they're not spiritually alive. So we know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And this is why things are going tipsy-turvy as it looks. Because we're at the end of Esau's world. All right. And this is the Most High's doing. And giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set up over it the bases of men. And Esau is the basis of all nations. The Edomites are the basis of all nations, and they've showed that through their record. And that's all I have to say. With that, I want to give all of the praise and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruka Hakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us, and then to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Bashmiel Shai Brakatham, and also salutes to all of the sincere brothers out there that's pushing this truth, of course, worldwide, who is of the 144,000, as well as we hopefully believe that we are, and as well as the 1/3 that continue to watch, learn, and listen, and grow in the spirit of the Lord. And it's your brother Laban. I'm out. Shalom.